And welcome, folks, to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And, folks, we got a great show today. It's Monday. It's sort of cold here in Chicago, but we got a great show. We're going to discuss the meeting with President Trump and Zelensky. So if you ain't got nothing to do, folks, y'all come on in, sit down. Let us get ready. Welcome to Let the Truth Be Told. Welcome you to the show this Monday. And folks, we got a great conversation that we're going to have today. You know, first, let me give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Yahshua of Nazareth, for making it possible for me to be here, and welcome to my new listeners and listeners across the country and across the world. Welcome to Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, let me say this to you. To the American people and patriots across this country, what we saw over the weekend with Zelensky and President Trump, that was an embarrassment to our country. It was an embarrassment to our country because the last 4 years under the Biden and Harris administration, they took crap off this little punk who ain't even a real man. They found him in some burlesque bar in the Ukraine doing homosexual shows with a guitar with nothing else on. It was Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and all the other Democrats who invested into the Ukraine and who have been putting money into the Ukraine ever since 2011. Nancy Pelosi had her kids over there. Joe Biden had his kids over there. They were all acting like they were ambassadors to the United States. And basically they was there washing money through USA aid before they were unable to get any more. And so they created, and I'm going to say it, to the American people and patriots across this country, we have to open our eyes to know exactly what this liberal media has done. CNN, MSNBC, all of them has played this horrific game with the future of our country. They have sit back and they used COVID. They rolled out all the new transgender homosexual stuff. They kicked God out of the United States, shut the churches, and told the American people to sit down and shut up, and we're going to make you do what we want you to do. But they forgot one thing. They forgot God. God is not the author of confusion. This is his world. Satan don't run it because they want you to think that. I heard a pastor say the other day to me, this is Satan world. How can it be Satan world if he didn't create it and God created Satan? I'm saying it to say this. What we saw this weekend was a little punk who were being advised by Barack Obama and Joe Biden on how to stand up to a real man. The United States of America have a real man as a president. This man has cojones. He not afraid to say what he need to say to put you in your place, especially when he knows that you are begging and not in a position to even argue. And then saying that, let me bring my co-host in. Doc, welcome. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Now, I know you was in the green room and you know what this is all about today. Now, tell me your thoughts on when you saw this, because the reason I'm fired up is because you would think that the American people would look at this after all the money that President Trump is finding with Doge, the fraud, the waste and abuse, even the Democrats who always talk about being, open and honest and transparent, they're the ones with the Republicans who have created these problems by stealing taxpayer dollars. You would think that every American should be proud to have a president like Trump who's going to stand up and do the right thing. Your thoughts on this whole thing with Zelensky, and then we're going to play a couple of clips and then talk about it.
Yeah, well, I just found it interesting how he thought he could come to the White House and flex after being given billions of dollars at the taxpayers' expense, along with losing the lives of people there. And even some of our people have gone over there. Now, technically, it is a proxy war that we're involved in, right? And he's involved in the conflict with Russia. And that's why President Trump keeps calling for peace, because he doesn't want to be in an all-out war. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it is still proxy in the sense that the war hasn't been officially declared, right? We're still working with NATO, working with Ukraine, working with Russia. It needs to end because technically, and this is just my opinion, the way NATO has set it up, they just want to keep the money flowing.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. They just want to keep the money flowing because this stops and all bets are off. There's no more money flowing to any of their countries.
And Doc, you're so correct too. And that's why I say every American should be upset with the Biden administration and the Democrats on how they let us get pimped. NATO pimped us. All these other countries pimped us out. Yeah. And the reason why we was getting pimped out, because Joe Biden and the Democratic Party was pimping the American people.
Yeah.
They was pimping us because every time something happened over there, they was complaining about, well, Zelensky came in town and we had to give him another 30 or 40, 50 billion dollars.
What?
Every time he came, he didn't dress respectful like he would come to a meeting. You just brought your ass in here with some jeans and a sweater. You're at the White House of the United States of America, the most powerful country on the face of this planet. You have taken our money and you have begged and you have never did anything for this country. This country should not even give a damn about what happened in Ukraine because it's not our problem. He's not even considering the fact that the problems that the United States citizens are having with the migrants, this is all under the Democratic leadership. With the migrants and them being invaded, we got our schools under siege. I mean, we're producing children who can't read and write. On the foreign country front, we fighting Israel and trying to negotiate that. We are spread too thin because we got money coming out of both ends. We got money still going to the Ukraine. We still had money through U.S. aid going to Afghanistan, sending money to Afghanistan. And then we're here caught up with Israel, and the door is open for that. So, I mean, the taxpayers in this country not only was being invaded, but we were being robbed.
Yeah.
And nobody else taking responsibility to help this country, nor was the leadership trying to help the citizens. And all we were doing was robbed, raped, and all the ugly other things that we saw in the past 4 years, Doc.
Yeah. And to that, places that you don't think about where the money's coming out of, but the entitlement programs that we have here, like Social Security. I mean, we do have a section of Social Security that's going to people that are non-documented, and it's a list, and it's people from Afghanistan, people from Ukraine, even they call them paroled in the United States. That's a class of individuals. Those are the things that President Trump was trying to put a stop to, that Doge has brought up, because to your point, we're bleeding from all ends.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop the financial bleeding, because right now it's a financial attack. And people have to remember, war is with words before you get physical. So we've been in a war, you know what I'm saying, with our government, unfortunately, because we don't want the spending that's happening going on. And right now we do have, unfortunately, people in Congress that are pushing to stay in this proxy situation, that want to maintain those government contracts. Because again, this all comes back to money. It all comes back to the dollar.
You know what the most saddest thing to me in this whole thing now, it happened over the weekend. And so I've been just sort of chilling back. Like I said, the American positions, we shouldn't care about Zelensky, or nor should we even care about the Ukraine. As long as our soil, long as America is under this siege, and as long as we have citizens still sleeping out under the viaduct here in Chicago, but yet we've given millions and trillions of dollars to transgender changing monkeys and all that other stuff, and condoms, and you name it, on the DEI, that the American people were being robbed. You would think that especially Black citizens, you would think that Black citizens, who we have always been under attack, there has never been an even playing field for us. We have always complained about not having nothing, but the reason why we don't have nothing is because we don't have our own. And I'm saying that because we got Black people sitting around here actually getting involved with guys like Al Sharpton. Now, Al Sharpton ain't addressed no issues about nobody. He ain't said nothing about the illegals that invaded the Black community.
Right.
Al Sharpton, nor Jesse Jackson, nor any of the other Black leadership. The NAACP hasn't said nothing. The Urban League haven't said nothing. No Black organizations have stood up and said nothing about how wrong it is for them to do what they're doing and then the Black community be invaded. Nobody.
No, and they won't, because it doesn't serve them. I mean, Al Sharpton got 500,000 from the Harris campaign
to got more
interview her. Right. And the other Black churches. And the interesting about it is the other Black churches were like, we're not mad you got the money. We're just mad because you didn't share it.
You didn't give us none. Right, exactly.
Because he didn't state it. And it's just one of those things. DEI does not serve us. It does not help us. We are at the bottom of that chain, but they need to use our plight to push it.
Yes.
And create a position for themselves politically. I need us as a unit, as a community, to say, we're just not going to let you pimp us anymore.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Back in the day when we was coming up, we knew. I didn't get involved with the Jesse Jacksons. And I've known Jesse Jackson my entire life, with Operation Breadbasket, when he was stealing money from the seniors, being their payee, and doling their money out to them when he wanted to, man. So I've seen these charlatans in actions my whole life. And I cannot believe that people actually follow them, because, the proof is in the pudding. You would think that with all the Black leadership that's in the country today, that's in Congress, that's in the senators, that's all over the world, mayors, and all of those people that are in Black leadership positions, you would actually think that, knowing the plight of the Black community, that they will be talking to each other saying, we need to fix our community.
Yeah. You would think.
But it's not happening. So You know, ignorance is bliss. And so this weekend, I wanted to hear and get some reactions from Black folks that I knew.
Mhm.
I walked into a Sunday school meeting.
Uh-oh.
And I was taken back because you would think that common sense to the American people and patriots across this country. We have to use common sense to know that what we've seen is not the American way of life, especially Black people being the lowest at the point that we are. But there were some of my friends and colleagues at the church who, when I walked in, I guess they were just waiting for me to come in, like, here come Pastor. Oh, Pastor, we need to hear what you got to say. They said, do you know that was so disrespectful? Now, me, I'm thinking they talking about Zelensky. They said, that Donald Trump, he's so disrespectful. He talked to that man anyway. I said, whoa, wait a minute. You mean to say, if I come to your house and I eat your food, I take all your money, I sleep with your wife, and take over your house, you gonna be mad at the person that throws me out?
Yeah, that part.
You mad at the man because they done gave him all this money, all these taxpayer dollars. They've been furnishing this war with weapons. They have been using special ops. See, the American people think it's just Zelensky over there fighting. America has been fighting this war ever since the beginning. And the money that have been coming to and going to the Ukraine is being stolen. It is not going to the soldiers. It's not going anywhere but to Zelensky's pocket, because he's been in cahoots with Biden and Harris and the Obamas and the Clintons, and all of them have been stealing the taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
And we have nothing to show for it but death and maim and brokenness. And you come to our house and say this. Let's play this clip, Doc, right quick. I want the people to see a little bit about what Zelensky is doing with our money.
Right.
A corruption scandal that once shook Ukraine's defense establishment has resurfaced, this time with even graver revelations. French authorities now claim the stolen amount is even larger, with lavish real estate purchases in Europe exposing the scale of fraud. A year ago, Ukraine's security service, SBU, accused top defense officials of orchestrating a fraudulent scheme to siphon off nearly $40 million from a state-funded purchase of 100,000 mortar rounds. Ukraine had paid nearly the full amount, yet the munitions never arrived. 5 individuals, including 3 government officials, a defense contractor executive, and a foreign commercial group representative, were implicated. The SBU confirmed that one suspect was caught while attempting to flee. If convicted, those involved face up to 12 years in prison. But the corruption trail extends far beyond Ukraine's borders. French authorities uncovered that the stolen funds financed luxury real estate, including a villa, a vineyard, and multiple land plots worth millions. According to the National Anti-Corruption Bureau of Ukraine, NABU, and the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, SAPO, a former executive of Ukraine's state-owned defense conglomerate, Ukroboronprom, orchestrated a multi-million-dollar embezzlement scheme, funneling $46 million from state enterprises into foreign accounts under the guise of agent services linked to military sales. At least $13 million was laundered through intermediaries before reaching personal accounts. French authorities have seized the assets, and Ukraine is seeking extradition. NABU, working alongside international law enforcement agencies, is tracing the illicit financial flows to expose the full extent of the corruption. Weighing in on the scandal, Elon Musk, the U.S. head of the Department of Government Efficiency, condemned the Ukrainian government's mishandling of war funds. "This is just the tip of the iceberg," Musk remarked. Fico weighed in with his statement, wherein he lashed out Zelensky again.
President Zelensky actually needs this war. When there is war, there cannot be democratic elections. Zelensky is particularly worried about that. Let us recall in what a favorable situation Winston Churchill lost the 1945 election in Great Britain. When there is a war, it is difficult to investigate where a huge part of the funding given to Ukraine ended up, where an enormous number of arms ended up. When there is a war, Zelensky knows that he has total support of the European Union. I say all this quite openly, as Prime Minister of Slovakia, a country which is bordering Ukraine.
As the pre-trial investigation remains active, Ukrainian anti-corruption agencies vow to hold those responsible accountable. These revelations raise serious concerns about Kiev's wartime financial integrity and Western oversight of billions in foreign aid.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, it all comes back to the money. Now, I talked to some people over the weekend, and they were more so Trump supporters, and we ended up saying something that a lot of people probably won't say, but, you know, I love it when you call me Big Papa. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's what we sisters were at. We're like, yeah, he basically tried to yoke up on Trump, and Trump was like, if you don't sit down somewhere, you are in my house, you are not going to come up here and punk me. But since you're going to try it, let's just let the American people see how I'm going to just sit you down.
And you know what?
And that's what happened.
And what I love about President Trump in this is because the American people do not get an opportunity to see how he deals with other leaders.
Right.
See, with Joe Biden, you never saw Joe Biden sit down with anybody and chop nothing up because Joe didn't even know who he was. That's the reason why.
No.
His presidency was hidden because he never did any transparent stuff. And so we should be happy that President Trump is doing this in front of our face, because a lot of people were talking about, oh, he fronted him off in front of the American people.
No,
the clip we just showed, those were taxpayers' dollars from the United States of America. Yeah. That was our money that's getting caught up with the French and all the rest of the world leaders who are taking the money from the Ukraine now because they had no place to use it because they was washing it back through.
Right. Because there's no real war. How are you going to pay millions of dollars in emissions and it never shows up? It's because you're really not trying to fight the way you're fighting.
Exactly.
But people unfortunately are dying because there are attacks happening at the border where you're sending them to the front line, unfortunately, to be slaughtered. Well, what are you really doing?
Yes. And you know what? That's the sad thing of it was because, you know, this is why I say we have to use our common sense when we look at these situations and understand the United States position as the funder of this war and of this escapade.
Yeah.
We need to know what our money is doing and where it is going, and we need to know the accountability from him.
Right. And I was glad that JD Vance was there as well, just to kind of drive it home, like, you know, because he is a senator, former senator, now he's the VP. So he saw a lot of this movement over the past 4 years or longer, right? Because he was there, I want to say, during Trump's administration. So he got to see a lot of the transition when Trump was in office, when he was the 45th president. So from his, you know, vantage point, he saw the money coming through that was being approved by Congress and no accountability. And I'm so glad that he brought that up during the meeting.
Well, we're going to get into that, but I just want the American people and patriots across this country to really understand the type of leadership that we have today. it is truly a blessing that we have a leader like Donald Trump that's not going to take crap off people. He's
Right.
just not going to sit up here. You done under the Biden administration, you done got trillions and trillions of dollars. Look at our economy. What, we had over $36 trillion in debt in the last 4 years?
Right.
36 trillion? And it went from
Yeah.
36 trillion to what, about 6?
Yeah.
So I don't see how people could be sitting back feeling sorry for somebody who is robbing our pockets and then talking crap in front of our face, acting like we need him.
Yeah. It was that part.
That
It
the
was
part.
that part. It was, like I said, the amount of disrespect. And here's the thing that we also have to bring up. Zelensky met with some members of Congress roughly about a week or two before he met with President Trump. So do we know everything that was said in that meeting? I know it's online, but he felt emboldened to go in there the way he did. So whatever they said to him, they were like, yeah, you can go on and flex. I wonder what was said, Lindsey Graham.
Well,
right?
you know what, and furthermore, to show you much more disrespect, that you would go as a world leader and you would go in a pair of jeans and a sweater. That you didn't come to do business. No. You just came to get your money and get the hell out of America, because that's what he's been doing for the past 4 years. Coming here, Zelensky's in town. Oh, just give him 40 million and get him out of here.
And it's been allowed. And so people have really it's been conditioning. Like, okay, well, this is just who he is, what he does. It's like, no, he shouldn't have been let in the front door. So why can't you come in? Because you don't have on a shirt, a tie,
at least
and a sports jacket.
Sport jacket, a tie or something.
Yeah, but you don't have that on, you can't come in, no entry.
But see, that goes to show you how many people that are working. Those people that met with Zelensky before they met with the president, they have already been assisting him, and they call themselves grooming him on how to treat Trump. Just go in there and talk to him. If you get him upset, he's still gonna give you the money because he needs the minerals. We don't need the minerals that bad to where we got to keep paying to get them. We've already paid for the minerals. He shouldn't get a dime with all the taxpayer dollars that he's already gotten. We should own the mineral mine. And it's saying that, let's bring this. Let's play this clip.
United States of America, and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Don't feel now, but you'll feel it in the future. You know, I saw someone do a TikTok video and it's like, is that a threat?
You know what? That's a threat. See, that's what I'm talking about. Because he's telling him what the proper thing that should be getting done. Now you got the balls to sit it into my house after you done got my money. We just played a clip where most of our taxpayer dollars are being stolen. He done stole the money and they catching him stealing the money. And you in the White House begging for more money because you got minerals?
Yeah.
Now that was a threat. Now you listen.
You have nice oceans.
Yeah. And then he even said it himself that you're gonna have a problem sooner or later. Let's
right.
run that back. Let's hit that again now.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God
don't know
bless.
that.
You will not have
gotta-
a war.
Hell no.
We're trying to solve a problem. Don't
Thank
tell
you.
us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You
was
don't have
in
the
a-
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What you're-
III.
what you're
You're
speaking
gambling
about?
with
What you're
World
speaking
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you.
your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States
what
of
you're
America
speaking about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly.
He's totally
Your country's in big trouble.
disrespected.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying.
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, We are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West
If
people?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
that
thank
there,
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make, because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What will you do? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken ceasefire
What if they broke it?
many
I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what-
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right.
Doc.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know people are like, what do you mean the cards? He does not have the backing that he needs to go it alone.
Yes.
Even NATO doesn't even have the backing to go
Yes.
it alone without the United States. That's why he keeps saying you don't have the cards. Hungary does not have the cards.
No.
Russia has been trying to align itself with NATO, and they keep saying you can't be a part of NATO because of international crimes or because we don't want you to be a part of the club. But if you was a part of the club, we wouldn't be here right now. Or maybe we would be. But see, here's the deal. There are countries in NATO that want to encroach upon Russia.
Yes.
Right?
But
they want to take over parts of Russia. And Russia's like, no.
But you know, the sad thing of it is NATO should be disbanded.
It really should be.
It should be disbanded because it's our tax dollars. To the people watching the show, America is paying to keep NATO going.
Yeah, we pay about 70%.
It's our taxpayer dollars that keep everybody going. We keep Poland going. We keep France going. We keep everybody going out the American people, out of our pockets. So I want to address something right now. Well, I respect President Trump because I can tell you right now, if you were sitting next to me and you threatened me, that was a threat.
It was, unfortunately.
That was a threat. See, that's what I have a problem with ignorant black people sitting around talking about, well, he was wrong for what he did. You mean to say that you would sit up there and this man threatened the United States of America on worldwide TV and begging for money, begging for more of our money?
Right.
How do you feel so comfortable that you can say you got a nice ocean, but guess what? You let this go on and you're going to feel some pain over on your side of town.
Right, right.
So my question is, first of all, black people, we shouldn't even give a damn. We shouldn't give a damn about Zelensky. We shouldn't give a damn about the Democrats. We shouldn't give a damn about the Republicans who did nothing for black people. We should say the hell with all of it and start building our own future. See, if we could take some of that money, this is why I say it's a shame that you would take trillions of dollars like that and invest it into the Ukraine, but you don't want to give black people reparations because you said that you don't even know how to disperse the money.
Right, right, exactly. Oh, you know how to disperse it.
You know,
you saw that in action for 3 years. You know how to disperse it. Let's not play that Jasmine Crockett line. No, you know how to give people money. Don't even tell that lie.
But the thing of it is that this right here, and what we saw, what President Trump had to go through to represent us, he probably said that to Joe Biden, and Joe Biden said, y'all cut him the check. We don't want it over here because we want to keep stealing money.
Right.
If it was left up to me as the president of the United States, I would walk away from that deal. I will pull all of my weapons. I will pull all my intelligence. I will pull my consultants. I will pull everything out of the Ukraine and tell Russia, have at it. That's what needs to be done. Because you're so disrespectful, you so unthankful, and we got an invasion going on here trying to fix our own country, and here you are, the money that he got, America could have been fixed 20 times over.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, our homelessness would have been eradicated, especially with our veterans, all the hotels that have been propped up in the state of New York and in the city, right? So it's very disingenuous. And for this person to come to our country and threaten our shores, that's a threat.
That's a threat.
Sorry.
But you know what? This is why I say most empires fall from within.
Yeah.
It's the inside that destroys an empire, because just like I've been hearing black people talking about how disrespectful Trump was to Zelensky. See, that psychologically, a lot of black people are so screwed up in their head to think that Donald Trump is a racist because that's what the Democrats taught them. And yet it's the Democrats who put us in this place. It's been the Democrats ever since the Ku Klux Klan been invented. Black people, You need to get off your butt and you need to start reading and researching the history of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. I mean, they're showing themselves right now.
All the way, they all the way out.
The utmost. Because, I mean, if the Democrats start continuing to support Ukraine after this meeting,
we shouldn't.
If you still support this man after this meeting, then we know who you are. You do not care about the United States. And to that, he also had another interview. I don't know if we have that, but there's another interview with Zelensky that's out there where he's saying that our sons and daughters need to go over to Ukraine and fight this war with Russia. And it's like, absolutely not. This is why President Trump is saying we need to come to peace right now. We do not want to be in World War III. We do not want to be in this conflict anymore. You need to shut this down.
Well, you know what? I would just think that we need to pull our resources out of Ukraine and let Russia just bomb the hell out of them. Let them fight it out. Just like Trump said, if you're so ungrateful that you've gotten all this trees and dollars from us, and you know that you got it, and you know that you're not using the money for the war.
Yeah, it's that part.
That's the part that kills me the most, is the clip that we played about the corruption over in the Ukraine. Trillions of dollars of the taxpayer dollars have been stolen. He is sitting here right in the White House making threats against the United States of America after he done stole taxpayer dollars, and he talking it?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. The way Doge has done their audit for us, they need to audit all of the dollars that have gone over to the Ukraine and where they've actually gone.
And actually where they're going.
And what it's been spent on.
Yes.
That's what I want. I've been calling for that audit for a minute. Okay. Well, oh my God, that's what I want to see.
Let's be totally correct as well, too, because let's not forget Israel, too. There needs to be a Doge done on that, because every penny has not went to the war. Because if that's so, how was it that $50 million worth of condoms was sent to somewhere over in the Middle East?
Yeah, from USAID. Yeah.
And why is it that in Pakistan that you had the all gay parade pride party or something that cost us $6 million?
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, that the taxpayers should be grateful to President Trump and Elon Musk for exposing all of this waste, fraud, and abuse. The American people should be happy, because he's talking about now saying the people of the United States need stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Because all the money that we're going to save, all the money that we need to get back from all of these agencies who've been stealing and lying, first of all, there need to be some subpoenas, and there needs to be arrests made for this money that has been stolen and diverted, given to everybody else. Your thoughts on that, Doc?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still finding massive corruption. I forget the name of the organization, but it's in Texas. And they have several buildings that are pretty much empty, that they've been paying for all these years and haven't produced anything that they said that they were supposed to. Oh, that's what it was. It was for, I guess, illegal migrants. And they were pretty much shelters. And the shelters are empty. How were these shelters empty? Because they were for a specific set of people. They weren't for American citizens. Now, how are you going to walk over somebody and literally go to an empty building that you don't have any migrants in, but you're receiving $16 million a month?
See, that's the kind of stuff that just that we need to know. We need to know that kind of stuff, because the government has gotten this invisible wall and this shield that they're doing stuff behind the taxpayers' back.
Yeah.
See, we needed this, because now that we see that there's so much dishonesty and corruption in the federal government, people were sitting around. I don't know how you could have. See, that's why I say common sense is not common anymore.
Yeah.
You would have to be a starved, raving idiot to think that everybody that goes to Congress and everybody that's in the Democratic Party and Republican Party are honest people.
It's sad. They're not. They need to be, and especially in this day and age where you can get found out, right? Where people can come with receipts, where there's an actual technical electronic paper trail, right? Where people can actually pinpoint the moment of corruption, but these people still continue down the because they've been compromised. Unfortunately, the people that holler the loudest, those are the people, in my opinion, that are completely compromised, and they don't want to get found out because they have to yell and say, look over there, not at me. And they're the ones, in the hot seat.
Well, this goes to show, and this is why I feel that it's really important to the American people and patriots across this country who watch this show, who question if you think that we know what we're talking about. You need to do the research. Yeah. That's what we have to be more cognizant of what's going on around us, especially with the federal government, especially with the state government.
Yeah. I'm actually volunteering for our county Doge that we have here in Henry County in the state of Georgia. So it's not just a state Doge that we have it actually disseminated by county. So I'm actually going to have, I don't want to say the authority, but I will be given permissions to go in and look and see what's been happening with each city within Henry County, and if they are being above board, or if they are, where is the waste, fraud, and abuse? Because I'm telling you, it is everywhere, and it's going to be good to see it. And I'm glad that we're doing it here in Georgia, and I'm looking forward to seeing Doges everywhere: Illinois, New York, California, and just everywhere.
Well, I've been in contact with some people from the DOJ, from that I know out of New York, and I want to let the American people and patriots across this country know that we're working on prison reform with the Department of Justice. I've reached out to organizations in New York, standing in the gap with some who helped get the J6ers out of office. I've been working with them the last few weeks. We're starting to look at the prison system. And let me say this, there are a lot of Black men and women who are in the prison system because of Joe Biden's crime bill. Yeah. The fact that ghost dope was raving prevalent because if somebody said your name and they said that you was a dope dealer, you automatically went to jail under the RICO Act. And we got, I'm almost counting 10 to 20,000 Black men and women that I know of that I've been in contact with in the last 4 or 5 weeks that have clemency numbers are just sitting in jail, just sitting there, rotting away, and they know that they're innocent, and they still got them sitting there. So I'm working with some people at the DOJ. I won't call the names until we solidify this. We are going to go public with it. First America Warehouse, and I want to bring you in on this, Doc. I'm going to say it out in the open. First America Warehouse with Joe Box. One of the people is Paul Izagrassi with the Department of Justice. He's working with us now to take a look at Black political prisoners across the country. I'm requesting that he investigate Larry Hoover and Jeff Ford case, which they've already decided that they're going to look at their cases and see if they warrant to be home. And that's something big that I've been working on, but it's coming into fruition now. So we're going to do a series on prison reform once a week, I believe, with a new show coming out of First America Warehouse. I don't know if Newsmax going to pick it up or Real America Voices, but I know we've already talked to Ben Bergquam, and hopefully we can kick it off with Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec, and not to forget Steve Gruber and all those. So I want you to sit with me when we film these documentaries regarding but we want the world to know that the Black community has been greatly affected by a corrupt justice system, and President Trump is going to make sure that he fix it. And this is a prime opportunity time for those young men and women sitting in jail to get out and come home and be back with their families. Doc?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for that, because it is one of the things that actually tore through our families in the early 90s, to where we're at now. It's like been 30 years. And you look at where our men are today, they're in in a worse place than they could have ever been, with just no directions, with fatherless homes. It's interesting because the Black community, we're blamed for having fatherless homes, but there was actually a bill written to create that for us.
Yes.
And so it's definitely insult to injury.
Well, and that's why, to me, and to the American people and patriots across this country, I'm an independent. And and my idea is, look at the best candidate, look at the best qualified person to run the country. When the 2020 elections came out, Joe Biden was not the best candidate to run the country. And I voiced that unequivocally. I said, hey, wait a minute, I might not like Trump, but he's the best candidate to go forward for the next 4 years to keep going what we had, because we was in good shape. But to my amazement, Black people, after Joe Biden created the crime bill, here it is in 2025. And a lot of y'all watching this show, especially Black citizens across America, y'all got kids, y'all got husbands, brothers, cousins, all sorts of relatives that's been in prison 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years under a corrupt system. And in the 90s, when Joe Biden created the crime bill, Black men was going to jail in droves with the preachers, with the pastors across the country who got together because they were afraid to stand with God and remove the drugs out the community. We got all these Black men and women in jail, locked up right now, and Black people who had the nerve to vote for the man that wrote the crime bill, to put them in there, and then told you to your face, you ain't Black if you don't vote for Joe. Doc, your last words. I got to get off here.
Yes. So when you begin to see all these things, look up, for your redemption is drawing nearer. And with that, please check out the Redemption Party. We are at usaredemptionparty.com. We are looking for candidates to be servants of the people, not politicians, and also members of the party. I also want to give a special shout out to Angela Stanton King of Angie's House. My husband and I had the grateful pleasure of serving there this weekend, and it was truly beautiful. And they're building up a wonderful community housing for single mothers to help them with resources. And one thing I do want to put out to you, Pastor, and any men out there that would like to participate in that, we need a similar situation for our young men, because we do have homes for single women, but I never hear about the single fathers that also need the mentoring and the assistance just to learn how to parent and or learn how to co-parent and learn how to be a better man in the situation. And because they could be 15, 16 and a father of a child, but nobody really looks at, or how are we mentoring that young man so that he raises his child and he grows up, he can be a better man and a better father.
Well, I want to say this and to you. I was an early father. I had my first son when I was 16. And if I had not had the mother and father who taught me responsibility, and that even though I was just a kid at 16, I was grown because my parents had taught me that if you make a mistake like that, you be a man and you stand up for what you have done and be responsible and take care of your child. I got a 51-year-old son, man, that's a college graduate doing good. And so all of my children, because of the way I was raised and because of how my parents taught me to be a parent and to be a man, that's what we need to do our children, because they don't know how, because they haven't been taught. Doc, we'll be seeing you, because we're going to do a show. Mr. Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, is going to D.C.
It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be good.
We're going to do a special report on it too. So, Doc, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. It is always a pleasure to be with you guys, and it's a pleasure to talk about the truth and show you exactly what we're faced with. So to the American people and patriots across this country, these are my last words. We should be grateful and we should be thankful. Now that we see what it's like to be the president of a superpower. Here we are, the greatest country in the world, a superpower. We should be much more prideful in who we are and the things that we are capable of instead of what we see today. For the past 4 years, we've allowed the Biden administration to turn our military into a joke. DEI, homosexuals in the military, they're only going there to get transgender operations because all sorts of money was given to them for that. We looked so weak. We had 2 wars, and the wars was nothing but wash houses for the taxpayer dollars to come back to the corrupt politicians. So when we see a president like President Trump, who has a mandate by the people of the United States to fix this country, to bring this country back to some areas of respect, to end some wars that somebody else caused, like Joe Biden. And yet here we are entertaining bullcrap leaders like Zelensky in our country after he done robbed the taxpayers and diverted trillions of dollars of taxpayer money to fund his own lavish lifestyle and others who are with him. To the American people and patriots across this country, let us look at this meeting with Zelensky the right way. First of all, he should be grateful. Secondly, he should be thanking America for all that we've given. And third, after the total disrespect of threatening, he threatened the greatest country on the face of the planet, the most powerful country, that you would sit at our White House after you've taken our money and bullshitted it off and talk to the American people and threaten us as if you got the potential to harm us and our people, and you're begging for money. I don't know about y'all, but I'm glad that President Trump is in office. And like I said, the only way America is going to get out of this funk is that we have to stand up for our rights. We have to stand up for who we are. We have to be the America of the old. We have to get rid of all this new stuff, all these transgender laws, DEI, get rid of it all. We should thank Elon Musk and President Trump for doing Doge, and Doge need to be did all over the country. And to Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker, I remember when you said here in the state that you are a happy warrior, but you still a warrior, and you're going to stand up for illegals and come against the president and Tom Homan. I want to see you keep standing. And in saying that, I want to thank y'all for watching the show.